Saurabh, and all eyes are on Jharkhand right now, where amidst the deepening political crisis in the state due to the uncertainty over whether the Chief Minister Hemant Soren's fate as an MLA, the Jharkhand Chief Minister and his ally, the Congress, today rounded up the MLAs. It's a standard tactic of dodging attempts at poaching lawmakers and bringing down governments. And all of them spent the day out together, boating, allegedly bonding before they returned to Ranchi at the end of the day. Now, following a meeting in the Chief Minister's residence, Mr. Soren and all of these MLAs were seen getting on these luxury buses with their luggage and then leaving. Later, they arrived at Kunti, which is about 30 kilometers away from Ranchi, about an hour away from Ranchi. Then there were those visuals of them having this wonderful boat ride in, against picturesque settings in a lake near a dam. This even as all eyes are on the governor, who is expected to be sending an order possibly of a disqualification of Mr. Soren as an MLA. All eyes on the governor after that EC had sent its opinion to the governor on Thursday on a plea seeking that Mr. Soren be disqualified as an MLA for violating electoral norms by extending a mining lease to himself. Let's go across to Saurav Gupta, who's monitoring this story. So, Saurav, an interesting day at the end of it. After all of that outing, these MLAs have returned to Ranchi. What are you hearing about that? Has there been a change in plan? I asked this because we were reporting that earlier in the day they left on these luxury buses with their luggage.
That's right. You know, we were told that they'd all come with their luggage. We were told they were leaving in luxury buses. We saw those visuals and imagined that they would be heading out to some resort, because there is a plan to ring fence MLAs, given that there is a situation where the Jharkhand Chief Minister Hemant Soren may have to step down because of the disqualification. So, in that context, adding to that would be a huge problem if there were MLAs who were defecting at this time, which is why there's an attempt to ring fence and there's a plan in place for that. But at this point, once the buses left Ranchi, they headed to a place called Latratu, which is not very far from here. It is in Kuti district of Jharkhand, where they were, they spent about 4 hours. They had a meeting. Mutton curry rice was on the menu also, we were told. But also, they met for lunch. They had that meeting, and then they were obviously after that meeting, they returned or they are on their way to Ranchi. We are being told there's another meeting in the evening as well. But this was also an attempt to send out a message, perhaps through the pictures. Hemant Soren with Congress MLAs, with JMM MLAs, trying to send out a message that everyone is together, at least as far as the picture is concerned. As far as the crisis is concerned, the numbers so far haven't really seemed to have shifted away from Hemant Soren. They're still very much there, which is why perhaps the BJP has been demanding mid-term polls and not that Mr. Soren, not just Mr. Soren, stepped out. So at this point, we're being told after 4 hours or so at the Latratu Dam guest house, they are headed to a temple, and from there they're headed back to Ranchi by 8 p.m. for another series of meetings, is what we're being given to understand.
Sort of, what are we hearing about when and if and when the governor is going to issue this notification? Because all day we were reporting it was expected at the end of the day. It's now 7 p.m. Darkness has descended. Are we hearing anything about by when the governor will issue this notification, or the contents of what the EC has decided? Is there an outer limit? Is there a time limit by when this needs to come?
We're not sure if there's a time limit, but there's been complete radio silence from Raj Bhavan, because all eyes really have been on the Raj Bhavan, but the Raj Bhavan hasn't really decided. The governor hasn't really decided. So in that context, yes, there has been kind of a hold up, because all of the strategizing, all of the strategies, all of the plans that they're drawing up in these meetings will kick in only once the governor decides. And the governor really hasn't decided, which is surprising. But I did ask Saryu Roy, who's a very senior politician in Jharkhand, and he told me that, look, maybe the governor has something else on his mind. Maybe he wants to he wants the EC to reconsider what its recommendation is. So all of that is in the realm of possibility, and that is why the governor perhaps is taking time.